Oh, check out this mess. Same thing happens whether I have it plugged into here or plugged in where it needs to go. I've tried two different cables. I've tried pressing the reset switch and all of that. So basically this thing is toast. Not that I'm surprised, because it is kind of a piece of junk, but so yeah, that's not very encouraging at all. So we could either buy one of three. There's a list of 3 that we can use with this service. Or we can get a new one from them. And it looks like we are going to be getting a new one from them. And unfortunately, that's probably going to take an entire week. So, I don't know. Well, we'll see. But same problem if I have it plugged in here. And this is a working jack. I have plugged a phone into this, so. And the phone is working, because obviously I was able to talk to them. And that's about it. Tried power cycling, tried pressing reset, tried unplugging the router that was hooked up to it, and none of those things resulted in any difference. So this thing is, I'm afraid, this thing is toast. Because it should at least do something. I mean, it should at least, if it wasn't getting a signal from anything, it should at least tell me that it can't get a signal. It should at least be turning on the wireless, and it should be, you know, doing something. And it is not. I just have, as you can see, the green power light, the WPS light. Now let's see if I can show this off by right here. So there you can see the model and all of that. It's a fast 2864, that's what that is. And so I don't know. So that's going to take a while until the internet is back, so I'm going to have to figure out what to do in the meantime. I think I can survive. This weekend is going to be great. Might mean I need to go into work and start using the work Wi-Fi in order to do all of this, because I wanted to talk to people tonight. It's, of course, 5:55 p.m. Not that it would matter, because it's been out all day, so. Yeah, that's not very impressive. Alright, so here's where it regularly sits. It sits up here, over here actually, and right up on here. It's plugged into that wall, and it's hooked up to that, which is a Netgear Nighthawk R7000. Here's the cable. I believe this is actually even an ISP supplied cable. And it plugs in, goes in all the way up there into this POTS splitter. I'm not even sure why that was there in the first place, but it's here. And that goes straight out of the house, where the line comes in from the house, and then it goes into the splitter. One goes into the DSL modem, and the other one goes out to the other phone lines. What have we got here? These are the 2 cables that I tried, in addition to the one that you already saw. The brown. Gray one is the original, and this black one is another wire that I tried, but it's not making good contact anyways, because obviously the 2 ends are broken. So that's not really going to help. But it didn't really matter. This didn't provoke any response anyways. So I just figured, you know, in order to solidify it, I would find one that had the 2 prongs. And let me tell you, that was a disaster. Let's go over here into this room, and we can take a look at all of this mess. I believe that this white thing is also a phone cable, so I could have probably just used this, and it would have been so much easier. Let's see, what is this? This should be a phone cable. Yes, this is a phone cable. What fun. I could have just used this damn thing, and it would have been all perfect. Actually, no, yeah, I could. Both ends are fine. Ugh. Do things the hard way. Whatever. Anyways, doesn't really matter, because there was no response. It just absolutely, no matter what I did, it did nothing. So we've got to order a new modem, or get a new modem, depending on what is the more economical option. Probably to get a modem from them, because it is, after all, their equipment. Alright, today is the 20th, and 5, actually, I'm going to call it 6 days because it's been out since the morning of the 15th and it only came back tonight. Internet has returned. I feel like it's 2006 all over again. That would have been 2006. Actually, when would that have been? That would have been, yeah, around April of 2006. I got my first computer, in fact, the one that's sitting right down there, that was capable of connecting to a broadband network. Before that, I was just using simple AOL dial-up service. First started 14.4 and then moved on to 56K. And both of them were not really fast at all, because obviously it's dial-up. So I just never really took an interest in the internet. I mean, I used it every once in a while, but I never really had a reason to go and just use the internet in those days. So I just didn't. The only time I really was exposed to the internet was at school, and we didn't really use it all that often anyways. We just played a whole lot of computer games and wrote things and all of that. Used books. So there's that. There's a little bit of that. The new modem is actually different. It's a different manufacturer. It's still an off-brand, but that doesn't really matter. You can actually see it's broadcasting, and it's no longer a Bell network thing because it's not a Bell modem. It's actually issued by our ISP. So there you go. And at first I thought, well, maybe it's one of those ones that doesn't actually broadcast wireless. But of course, obviously, that's totally wrong because there's a network right there. But anyways, for those that are wondering what it is, I believe the company name is Smart RG or something like that. It's an SR505N. Probably a real cheap thing. But it is enough to get online. And because it has the advantage of being cheap, we didn't really need to pay a whole heck of a lot in order to get this back up and working. If anything. I don't know. But anyways, so it has returned. Like I said, I'm still curious why the thing died in the first place, the other one. Which, by the way, the model on that one was a Sage Emcom, what is that? That was a Fast 2864, I believe. It's a Bell product, which probably explains exactly all of the problems. But, I don't know what happened. You may recall, if I can bring that up here, recently I did an experiment using, jumper pack. And I'd be very surprised if that's what killed it, but it's entirely possible. Maybe it overheated, I have no idea. That thing does get hot, or it did get hot, I guess. And maybe, actually, thinking about this, it's probably the chip bonding, or bonding on one of the chips to the board, that failed. Because most of those are soldered down using BGA packages, and for whatever reason, BGA is still not a 100% good, usable package type. I don't understand why. They've had so many years to perfect this, and, you know, frankly, it's 2016, like, come on. I should fire this up. It is still working. It's the first time in 6 days that it's been turned on. So, I'll have to see if there are any updates. At least it was working. I wonder if it's still working. Yep, it's still working. Okay. And I need to fire up the music player, and I need to back up all of that, but you don't really need to see any of this. I also need to fire up the bomb pack, and I need to run updates. It's a lot of things I need to run updates on. I need to do that. I'll do that probably at about 2 o'clock when it's free for me to do so. But I think that's it. Let's actually go take a look at the new modem now. Alright, so it's been 5 days. I believe it's been 5 days since the internet came back, and I have to say that it's been reliable. Actually, the first night I had to reboot it, so that wasn't a really encouraging experience, but since then it's been fine. I believe what had happened was it had obtained an IP address from a node that was not exactly the most reliable of nodes, because it would no longer authenticate past 2 o'clock a.m. And it went through, I think, about 7,100 some odd tries before I restarted it, and decided that that was, well, basically about enough. But, anyways, it's here. The one thing I'd like to point out about the old, or the new one, is that there isn't a single solitary blue LED on the unit, which means that it's not compliant with any modern design specifications, because apparently, for whatever reason, all modern consumer electronics are required to have at least a blue or a white LED on them. But it doesn't have either. It's got green and red, and that's it. Which actually is a refreshing departure, but obviously that's just me. I noticed that the WPS functionality was not turned on. I don't even know if it supports WPS, although clearly they thought about it. What else about that unit? Oh yes, I'm not sure I can show you this, but there is a status page. Here we are. So, when you go to the modem's page, the network address, it actually shows you this without even needing to log in. We can see all of our status and all of that, and also what the internet status is. I'm covering up the IP address because I don't need you guys to know that. Then we've got some other information here about DSL modes and attainable bit rates and output power and all of that. But this is a fairly, actually for being as cheap as I'm pretty sure it is, this is a fairly advanced little modem here. It's certainly better than the old piece of junk, which wouldn't even do anything at all, really. You had to log in and it wouldn't give you anything nearly as sophisticated as this in terms of data. It's a little bit more easily laid out, I guess. You've got your basic and your advanced and whatever and all of that, but anyways, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to wrap this up because there's nothing else that I really need to talk about. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. Hope to see you next time. Till then.